In this section, I'm going to speak about BPDUGuard and BPDUFilter. These are the mechanisms that make sure that the topology is not going to change because there is a switch on the other side, and the switch or anything that emulates the switch is not going to be a hazard for our network. Also, I'm going to speak about RootGuard. Again, this is a mechanism that makes sure that no superior BPDU is going to be sent to our network. This way, the switch, which is the root bridge, is going to stay root bridge. So all of them are kind of designed to serve the same purpose. So here, as you can see, there is an extra item that I have added here. You see that here I have an extra switch. This switch is not supposed to be connected to my access switch. This is kind of a rogue switch, let's say, or kind of a computer that emulates the switch, and this is connected to switch 8 here, which means that this is going to emulate some superior BPDU that is going to change the topology of the network. It can disrupt the network totally, or it can introduce itself as the root bridge, and all the data is going to be forwarded to this bridge. This bridge is going to receive all the data, and or let's say the computer, as a matter of fact, is going to sample all the data and use that data to its own advantage. So how can I make sure that this is not going to happen? Let's start this switch first of all. There are two mechanisms for this. One of them is to say that this interface on switch 8 is going to stop forwarding and stop working at all whenever it receives a BPDU. How can it do that? It just uses a mechanism which is called BPDUGuard. BPDUGuard says if I receive a BPDU, or kind of a message that switches are used to send to each other, as a matter of fact, bridge protocol data unit, I'm going to stop functioning. And I'm going to go to kind of shutdown mode, which is called error disabled, or in short, error disabled. So let's go to Ethernet 0 on switch 8 and see how we can do that. So if I just go here and show interface, or let's say show CDP neighbor, it says that there is a new switch here which is connected to Ethernet 0. It has understood that. Right? Now if I just go to this interface Ethernet 00, and just say spanning tree, and then you see that there is something which is called BPDUGuard. The command is a little different between platforms, but you can easily find it under spanning tree command anyway. So I'm going to use BPDUGuard here. And BPDUGuard, after that, like I said, this is a little different. Sometimes you just type spanning tree BPDUGuard. Sometimes you need to have enable in the end, and then that's it. If you hit enter, now see what happens to this interface Ethernet 00. Because it receives BPDU from the new switch, it is going to go into error disabled mode. So if I just show interface, and not IP interface, just interface, Ethernet 00, it says that right now it is in up mode, up. So it is working just fine, right? But after some time, because BPDUGuard is enabled, it will go into error disabled mode. So let's see that. It is not in error disabled mode. There are two reasons for that. There might be two reasons for that. One of the reasons might be this switch is already connected before I enable BPDUGuard, and it has understood that switch 1 is the spanning tree root bridge, so it is no longer sending anything here. But let's do something interesting. I'm going to shut down this interface, and this way that switch is going to start again claiming that it is root bridge, and I'm going to shut this interface and see what happens. It receives the first BPDU from that, and it goes into error disabled as soon as it receives the BPDU. Let's see. We are waiting for that, and now it says yes, I am in error disabled mode because I heard some BPDU which is not supposed to be on this interface, right? Now how can I get rid of this error disabled? Before this, I'm going to show interface Ethernet 00, and it says it is down, which is because of error disabled mode here. Now how can we get rid of error disabled. We can just shut this interface and unshut it again. That is going to exit error disabled, but if it receives another BPDU again, it is going to go into error disabled mode one more time. Or I can say in global mode that this error disabled is going to be auto recovered after some time. So let's do that. I can go here and adjust the spanning tree, and here there is something which is called, not a spanning tree of course, that is called error disable. Yes, that is it. Error disable, and after that you say recovery. And for recovery you should see what is the interval. So error disable recovery timer value is going to be configured under interval, and let's say that, for example, 5 minutes. That's going to be something like 300 seconds, right? And the timer value is in seconds, so I hit enter. This means that after 300 seconds that's going to be recovered automatically. But let's say that I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just go manually to this interface and shut it and no shut it. The next thing that I can configure is BPDUFilter. So what is the difference between BPDUFilter and BPDUGuard? BPDUFilter, as a matter of fact, just filters the BPDUs and lets the interface be in forwarding mode, and that's all it does. That is kind of secure, as a matter of fact, and it doesn't just stop the interface from forwarding. So this is sometimes the better thing to do, in my opinion, of course, but you might argue that this is less secure, so that's what you think. So I just go to interface internet 00, and I'm going to disable the command that I had here, and so I'm going to say no spanning tree BPDUGuard enable. So if I show run interface ethernet 00, it's going to have the default configuration, nothing more than that. I'm going to go with BPDUFilter, so I just say spanning tree BPDUFilter, and that's it again, enable, and nothing more than that. Just hit enter. This way that switch can continue sending the BPDUs, but this is not going to stop, functioning. See, I'm going to again shut this, which means that I'm kind of isolating the other switch, and that is going to initiate sending BPDU, but after no shutting, this is going to tell the other side that BPDUs are coming, and you do not see any error disabled anymore. This is what you do here. The next thing, like I said, is RootGuard. RootGuard should be considered to be configured on let's say designated ports. How can you do that? You just go to any designated port and type spanning tree RootGuard. That is what you do. So if just show spanning tree, let's say for example BLAN 1, you see that there are some ports here that are in designated mode. These are not supposed to receive these are not supposed to send any BPDUs, which means that BPDUs should not be coming from these interfaces. So I can just go to that and configure this. And again, for example, Ethernet 00 is in a designated port. I can just say spanning tree, and after that there is a command that says guard root. Here it is, guard root, and after that, is there anything else? No, you just hit enter, and that's going to configure guard root. RootGuard is enabled for port Ethernet 00. That is the message that you are going to receive. So this way you configure RootGuard on the interfaces.